Now, the abuse meted out on Twitter over the summer caused a storm of protest around the site. There were high-profile calls for the company to change its policies, and the police arrested some so-called trolls. An MP, a feminist campaigner and a historian were among those who allegedly suffered rape and bomb threats. But how do they feel about it now? And what about the police investigations? Here's Cordelia Lynch.
This summer, there was a noisy backlash against abuse on Twitter. These women were the alleged victims, and their trolls sparked a chorus of criticism. It's all gone a bit quiet since, but not for Caroline Criado Perez. She says she was sent another rape threat 24 hours after rejoining the site she quit last month. She also believes the Met Police have been slow and at times insensitive in dealing with her, a claim denied by Scotland Yard.
I got asked to go back through a load of the tweets that I received, which, were really graphic rape and death threats. So basically to relive the experience, to look for certain handles. In the event, it seems like that wouldn't have been necessary anyway, but I think that sort of points again to the way that the police perhaps don't really have a firm grip on these types of crimes, how they might affect a victim.
So where is the police investigation? The Met Police are leading it and told Channel 4 News they've looked at hundreds of tweets but must focus on what they believe is a crime. After the summer storm, a 21-year-old, 25-year-old and 32-year-old have been bailed till mid-October. But the force has a lot more to deal with. Reports of online bullying and harassment are on the rise, according to the Deputy Commissioner.
At the moment, we're seeing in the region of about 1,500 additional offences reported to us a year.
And Stella Creasy believes the likes of Twitter need to start helping the police more.
It's not a one-off what happened to me. Indeed, the numbers of increasing reports show that we do need new protocols between the police and the technology companies, and actually we've got to push them to put them in place.
Twitter has made it easier to instantly report abuse, but lawyers say it's slow going trying to prosecute.
You've got to identify the tweeter, which means going to a US judge and getting the information out of Twitter. Then you've got to persuade a British court that it was obscene rather than socially acceptable. Putting those two together sometimes makes it a challenge to get a conviction.
So you think what we're facing here is a very difficult struggle to actually bring these cases to court?
I think the biggest problem is the society's got to make its mind up about what is and isn't acceptable as a tweet, and that's a real challenge.
Some question whether the internet is the problem. Not historian Mary Beard, and she's been at the hard end of it.
If somebody comes up to me in a pub and says they're going to kill me and do all the other particularly vile things, I say, excuse me, to the landlord, can you ask this man to leave? Now, in some ways, we're going to have to work towards a way in which those kind of conventions are understood.
Have you had any contact with the young man who abused you?
Yes, I've had contact. He's fully apologised and we've had lunch.
You've had lunch?
Yeah.
What did he say to you?
I'm not going to talk about that because it was absolutely private. But, I'd always said, people said on the radio, what would you do? I said, take him out for a drink and smack his bottom. He totally fully apologised, and in fact, he bought me lunch.
So a private apology for a public figure. But what about the rest of the Twitter universe who won't get a free lunch? They may also be waiting a lot longer to get a slice of justice.
And that's it for today. You can reach me on Twitter at ChrisGM, but please be nice. We're back tomorrow at 7. Until then, that's Channel 4 News. Good evening.